Hi, I'm Joe. I'm the author of Constance, and I'm going to read a quick sample from the book. Um, this novel is basically about our failure in relationships to um, understand the point of view of the other person, and especially in the intensity of first love and teenage relationships, how poorly we can assert any kind of objectivity, how hazy it is, um, how unhelpfully, incredibly unreliable those relationships are. So in this scene, the sort of two main characters are beginning to sense a distance, and yet it isn't particularly legible to Ali, the main character, why this is, and he finds it completely unfathomable. So these past few days, he had woken feeling both dejected and encouraged. Although Cece was still refusing to spend the nights with him, it was also true, he reasoned, that in as far as she belonged with anyone, it was with him. In its own particular way, his fantasy had become real. She had stepped out of his hopeless dreams and placed one foot in a relationship with him, but the other foot remained somewhere else. She wouldn't sleep beside him or save him from his thoughts. He sped up around the muddy bend, his legs slopping like buckets. He had already enjoyed this arrangement for 2 weeks. Not that it was arranged. Cece and he were what? Their relationship didn't seem to have a definition. They were sexual partners at the very least. After lunch, most days, she would find him in his room, lay on his bed, or straddle him in his chair. A shared lust stalked them constantly. Once, when she had sat on the windowsill, their naked backs against the exposed pane between the curtains, he had wondered if his window would give way, as Ravi's had, and he was terrified they would both tumble from the second floor to a fabled death. She came to him with an interrogative frequency, and afterwards they lay and talked until evening, when they'd go out with everyone else as if there were nothing more between them than just friendship, perhaps because they weren't sure themselves, or perhaps because secrecy is the greatest aphrodisiac. Possibly, they would soon be boyfriend and girlfriend, and yet still Cece resisted commitment. She made speeches about how, for every romantic notion, there were countless realistic ones they failed to take into account, how romances didn't occur because of the options that people took, but because of the options that they had, how single beds were the unacknowledged cause of so much student distress. Without enough room to turn over onto their separate halves, these kids thus had to lie in each other's arms, making pillow talk avoidable, leading to an emotional dependence and a confusion over the depth of the connection. She said, at the one time in their lives when they should learn what sex is, they're instead trapped in a lesson of what love isn't. So she would have sex with him, but not fall asleep with him, and that was that. For her, sleep would be an intimacy too far. As every evening approached, he hoped she wouldn't leave. He would imagine a Pompeian ash suddenly petrifying their bodies, so entangled that archaeologists wouldn't be sure who was lying on whom. And then she would leave, and he would wonder if he would ever know the smell of her as she woke.